When you look at this, or even this, you might think, wow, this person can draw anything. Like, they can picture something in their head and just magically make it appear on the page. But what if I told you that artist isn't naturally great at drawing from imagination? She's just developed a skill that has enabled her to draw even when she doesn't have a reference. That artist is me. I am just like you. Sometimes my brain freezes and I can't remember what something looks like in order to draw it without looking at a reference. References are totally fine. Don't ever feel like you can't draw from a reference, but sometimes you don't have references available to you. Maybe you're inspired to draw something and you're far away from the internet and you can't just look up something on your phone and be like, oh yeah, that's what a dog's leg looks like, because I struggle with dog legs a lot. And so that I don't get stuck like this, I have a little trick and I'm going to share with you my secret. By simply building your mental library, you can draw anytime you're inspired, even when you don't have access to references. And building your mental library is way easier than you think, I promise. I'm going to show you some really simple exercises that will help you build this mental library. Exercise 1, you do know more than you think, you just have to start with it. So we're all going to think of a flower right now. We're not even going to look at a picture of one. And we're going to test and see what we have in our mind as far as what a flower looks like and what we can get on the page. I'm going to draw a flower we've probably all drawn. It's easy and it's pretty and it's cute. So one time or another, you might have drawn a flower like this, and there is nothing wrong with this. It's super cute, and I love it. But let's look at a real picture of a flower now. So I'm just going to go to Actions and then Reference, and then import an actual image of a flower. So I'll go to my images and find that. So if we compare the actual real flower to the one that we drew, it's pretty similar, but there's a lot more detail. The little points aren't always perfect little points, and the shape of the petals aren't just that perfect little teardrop shape. It's even got some additional petals on the inside. I don't even know what kind of flower this is. It's just the first one I found when I searched flower on Google. I literally just searched flower and that was the first one that popped up. I'm wondering, let me know if that's the one that comes up if you Google it too. Now we have an actual reference that we can draw upon, but this can really give you the confidence that you do know more than what you think. And there's nothing wrong with just starting. There's nothing wrong with drawing the basics and having that as your starting point. But let's go ahead and draw from the actual reference. So there is quite a bit of difference between our original illustration of our flower and the one that we drew from the reference. And this is just, my quick way of illustrating it. I tried to add more of the details from the actual flower, the inner petals, the imperfect way the petals are. They're not perfect teardrop shapes, and a few of the grooves. But now we've expanded our visual vocabulary. We've added something new, a new way of drawing something that we already knew how to draw, but we've got a new way of looking at it and a new way to draw it next time we want to draw a flower. You expand your visual vocabulary every time you draw something new. So what was your favorite thing to draw as a kid? I recently discovered that mine was butterflies, and I drew butterflies all the time, and I guess I just forgot, and I realized that I don't draw them enough anymore, so I'm trying to get better at that. So exercise 2, memory builds through repetition. Our first illustration for this exercise is just to draw it directly from the reference. We're not going to test out our memory to see if we know how to already draw this. We're just going to do straight from a reference. So I'll go back to Actions, Reference, and then I'll import a new image. And I'm just importing in this butterfly. I'm already getting opportunities to draw butterflies. So now I'm just going to illustrate exactly what I see. So it's not perfect, but you can definitely see how easy it is to draw something when you have a reference to look at. So now I'm going to turn off that reference and my original illustration, and we're going to draw it again. This time from memory, from my very, very short-term memory, because I just drew it. I'm going to try and remember exactly how that looked. So there's my butterfly from memory. And let's compare it to our original. So there is a bit of a difference there, but if you noticed, I tried to draw it in the exact order that I originally did because I remembered where I started and the different spots that I started the wings, but of course it wasn't perfect because I didn't have that reference. I was just trying to do it from memory. I can definitely see the muscle memory when drawing these antennae. I did it almost exactly in the exact same spots. That's just a fun way to see how quickly you can memorize something in order to draw it, especially something simple like this. But now we're going to draw it again and we're going to add our own spin on it. So I'm just going to turn these off again. Now I'm going to illustrate it the way I remember it, but a new style. So that was a very quick, continuous line drawing. It's got that same feel as the original. So let's just turn these all back on. So now we have our reference, what we drew exactly from the reference, what we drew when we were just trying to remember the reference, and then our own spin on it. This proves that you can internalize and then make it your own. And if you want to try a guided form of this exercise, I've shared a free worksheet for you and I've linked it in the description box down below. You can even use it directly in Procreate. You don't even have to print it. Exercise 3, simplify the world, at least the really complicated things. Don't overthink it, just break something down into its elements and then try to rebuild it with your memory. So think of a tree. I'm not going to show a tree yet, but I think we've probably all drawn this tree right here. I call it the lollipop tree. There is nothing wrong with this tree. If you drew this kind of tree as a kid, or if you draw this tree now, it's got a cool minimalist vibe and I really love it. But does it look how an actual tree looks? Not really. So I'm not going to use a reference for this one, but I am going to add on top of this. I've broken it down into its basic elements, the trunk, and then the leaves. Is that really what trees look like? Is it just a base and then a big puff of trees? Not really. Trees have limbs and each of those limbs hold their own group of leaves and it all just comes together to make one big beautiful tree. So this doesn't really represent that. So let's try and build this back up again to try to represent that. So now it looks like it's got a little bit more detail, but we can add even more to this by adding some depth to the leaves to kind of replicate that different sections of leaves that the limbs are holding. So now comparing the two, I don't even want to say that one is better than the other, but one is just more detailed than the other. And this isn't the most complex or detailed tree, but it kind of meets somewhere in the middle of simplified, but more stylized. So let this be kind of an aha moment. Stylization is your voice. You don't have to draw things perfectly from memory. Drawing them in a stylized way is super cool. Exercise 4, draw what you do know. Don't worry about what you can't remember. Focus on what you can visualize and draw that. In other words, stop gatekeeping yourself. Just draw the things you know. It's still fun. Even if you can only draw toast or clouds or bananas, draw the heck out of them. They're still gonna look cool. You can add a little bit more to them every time you draw them, and it's a really fun and freeing way to illustrate. If you have a rich visual memory, that's awesome, use it. But if you don't, and you think more in words, or you just don't see things as strongly visually in your mind, start with shapes and then add faces to them, and then arms and legs, and now it's a character. So it's completely unique, and there was no pressure drawing it. You don't need to be great, you just need to start. Drawing is like learning a language. You don't wait to speak until you've memorized an entire dictionary. You say what you can, how you can, and then you keep learning.
Je m'appelle Claude.
Je découpe plow.
So here's another little secret. Great drawings don't always start with profound inspiration, with the artist having completely visualized it in their head and they can just immediately put it onto paper or canvas or whatever they're drawing on. Sometimes they start simple. Sometimes they do have to pull references, but sometimes they don't because they have built their visual library. It's all about breaking things down into their simplest form and then building them back up again, and doing that over and over and over again. And over time, these become permanent to your visual library, and you can draw them at any time in your own unique style and not even think about it. You already have enough to start. Just use it, add to it, play with it, let it be fun. So let's have more fun navigating your creative journey. Go ahead and tap into this video where we have fun discovering your unique style. I am so excited about it, so I will meet you there.